listening. They're not listening to me. They're not listening to Elon. They're not listening.
Yeah.
They have these things, and they're just like religious dogma, and they lock down on those things. And Dave Chappelle's a transphobe. We got to take him out.
Dave Chappelle's a living saint.
Yeah, he's a beautiful person.
He's untouchable.
Amazing person. But he makes jokes about things that are real in our culture, and that's a real thing in our culture. And if you say there's a thing that you can't make fun of, that thing's bullshit. If there's ever a thing that you can't make fun of, that thing is bullshit.
Dude, I was taking care of somebody. Actually, I wanted to tell you this. I had to take care of somebody that had life-saving surgery, and I was helping them recuperate, and so I was just staying with them, and it was like, you know, you have a brush with death. You see your mortality, things are down, whatever else. And when we like caught our breath, I was like, let me just do something. And I put on a clip of you, and it was you were telling the story about like a hotel, and it was you, Segura, and Chappelle. But anyway, we were watching you guys do various bits of comedy on YouTube, and you guys made this person laugh so hard we had to stop watching it because they were going to bust a stitch. It was like the best medicine you've ever seen, and it was you were telling a fucking crazy story about waking up in a hotel and everyone's cramming down the exit.
Yeah, the hotel was on fire. Yeah.
That was great. And then it was Segura doing when disabilities are funny. He goes, not all disabilities are funny. He goes, but sometimes they're funny. And he does like a 10-minute piece on that. And we're just crying. And it was just such a great transmission of just comedy just being
the thing
medicine.
Is comedy is comedy, and to try to say it's normal speech is ridiculous because it's not your opinions, it's things that are funny about these things. Like when someone's saying something about anything that's inappropriate, you should never say that. That's Louis C.K.'s whole act, is saying the wrong thing. You're not supposed to say that, so he's going to say it.
Shocking.
And it's hilarious, but it's also really well written and funny. This is not like if you sat him down and asked him his opinion on people and life, he would give you a different version.
Sure.
This is just an art form. It's just like a movie. Like you go to a Quentin Tarantino movie, none of those people really died, okay? This is just art. It's just like something's creating something.
But that's the sense where I feel like it's coming back. Because like, look at the shit that Chappelle's pulling.
Yeah.
Look at the shit that you're pulling. Like, people are saying stuff again.
Well, people are realizing that you don't have to give in to this because it's a small, very vocal minority of people, but most people are tired of it. Most people miss old... You don't get a good comedy movie anymore. You don't get Superbad anymore. They can't make that movie anymore.
Can you imagine? Like Tropic
Thunder. You can't make that movie. You can't make that movie. I asked Robert Downey Jr. He goes, oh, you could.
You could.
But you can't. I mean, we fucked ourselves. We fucked ourselves by listening to these mental patients.
I think it'll come back.
I think some of it's going to come back
because I think it's going to. Now it's going to. Usually, right? It'll swing back. You look at movies from the 70s; they're fucking brutal.
Oh yeah.
Everything now is so sanitized and like you don't.
But
like,
it's still Tarantino though. He's the
only one.
He's sort of grandfathered in.
The last time that I saw a scene in a movie that made me really cringe was in Bastards when the bear Jew comes out of the cave, and the Nazi soldiers. He's on his knees, and you're so used to that they cut on impact.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes out and he fucking takes that swing and they don't cut. Yeah. I don't know how they film that shit. Movie magic. But you go, oh God. And Brad Pitt's sitting there chewing on a piece of bread and like clapping. You're like eating while this guy gets beaten to death. But like I remember being like, oh, because usually you watch John Wick, you watch whatever the fuck, you watch 1,000 people die on screen, it doesn't matter. But every now and then they make it so real.
Yeah.
And those 70s movies back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Because all the shit was real.
Oh yeah.
Car chases were real.
Yeah, man.
And now I watch movies and I'm like, dude, come on.
You remember Bullet? Like 10 minutes
Steve
of the movie.
McQueen?
It's a car chase.
Steve McQueen? Yeah. It's just motor
through the streets of San Francisco. Crazy. With a Mustang and a fucking Charger.
There's a movie with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin where Anthony Hopkins has to fight a bear. I think the whole movie's about them fighting. Dude, they used Bart the Bear from Legends of the Fall and whatever else.
Ooh.
But it is the most... You watch it, you will be blown out of your seat because Anthony Hopkins is 10 feet from a fucking grizzly bear. And then you can tell where they swap it. If you watch it really closely, you can tell where they swap him out. And the trainer gets like hit with a paw. Ugh. But this guy is wrestling with his pet bear. Yo, seriously, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Bro. Look at that fucking bear. Look at fucking Anthony Hopkins, the best.
How does he live in this? How's that even possible? Because they just tear you apart.
Look at his face. Just trust me. Just Jamie, go to like
he's
halfway.
running away.
Go
This
to like
is-
halfway of this video.
This is
No,
so
no, no.
ridiculous. That bear's like barely chasing him.
Go like halfway
This is so
halfway down
stupid.
this video.
Oh, he's got the fire
Oh,
out.
no.
I don't
No,
need
no.
to see this. I'm gonna have a different opinion of it. I'm gonna get angry.
No. That's not the clip. There's a clip.
Did you see The Revenant?
Yeah, it pissed me off, cartoon bear.
CGI bear.
And I love Tom Hardy and I love DiCaprio, but that come on, that CGI bear didn't get
You
me.
know that's based on a real story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
based on a guy who really did get mauled. He crawled like 20 miles.
My main takeaway from that movie is a lot of cold water.
Cold water.
I just watched every
Yeah.
time he fucking crawled in a cold stream. I was just like, this is
Do you know
brutal.
that incident didn't really take place in that environment though? The actual incident took place on the plains. It wasn't the same environment as the rainforest.
They just put it up there?
They put him in. I think they filmed it. See if they filmed The Revenant in BC. I think they filmed it in the rainforest of BC. You know, BC is a lot like Seattle.
Rainforest.
Well, I think they filmed it in like a dense forested area. And I don't think the real incident took place in any sort of environment like that.
I remember
Matter
it
of fact,
being
I'm
like
positive of that.
winter deciduous forest, but not
Waterfall
rainforest.
scenes were filmed in Montana, but the wiki says it takes place in the Great Plains.
Right. So, but where did they film all the forest scenes?
I think it was Canada.
I think it's BC because it just is way more dense than the Great Plains. It's not what they experience. Like when this guy crawled, it's like he's crawling across the fucking plains. Like this guy got torn apart by a bear and crawled.
And actually
His
crawled.
initial plans were to film the final scenes in Canada, although the weather was ultimately too warm, so they had to go to Argentina, where there was snow on the
Whoa.
ground, to shoot the ending.
Argentina.
Whoa, that's the
Jesus.
ending? What about the other stuff in the woods, like when they get attacked by the Native Americans? I thought that was in BC. Either way, whatever it is, it's like very dense forest, which is not what the...
Not historically accurate.
No.
But you got to do a little bit of that.
Do you? I mean,
Do you?
it's about the plains. It's real.
Yeah, but then there'd be no trees. Like trees are central in that movie. Like the stark.
So the movie's
vision
kind of bullshit. Like, isn't there a
Is it
way to do
fun?
it?
Oh, well,
little
then
bit
every movie's
Alberta.
bullshit then.
Alberta?
A little
Yeah,
bit, yeah.
there it goes. Okay.
I mean,
Canada.
even,
Alberta's crazy thick.
I mean, every movie then that you like, like every like historical movie, you go, how much of it is true?
Oh, yeah.
Like I just watched,
I
you
hate
watched
those movies.
Ford versus Ferrari, and I was like, how much of this is true? And they're like, none of it. It's like, did any of this really happen? No.
Okay, so the Kananaskis